Welcome to the Jobs and Work podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kendra Jason. I'm a sociologist and workplace equity consultant, and I will bring guests onto the show who reflect the diversity of the American workforce. On this podcast, I challenge you to think about work. Why? Because in America, we spend more time at our jobs than anywhere else. But how often do we really talk about work? And I mean all types of work: women's work, essential work, retirement, being your own boss, how to handle your boss, and so much more. Please subscribe and share the Jobs and Work with Work for Change podcast. You can learn more about my consultancy that supports this podcast at work4changellc.com. Hello, and welcome to the Jobs and Work with Work for Change podcast. I'm your host, Kendra Jason, and today on episode 40, we have special guest and small business owner, Krystal Ladda. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Dr. Jason. It's wonderful to be here. I'm so grateful that you had me this morning.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm just going to jump into Krystal's bio so we know who she is and I can have a great conversation. If you are a regular follower of Work for Change, you know who Krystal is because I have been, Krystal is my stylist. I'll just say that first. So any of the social media and you see me dopely dressed, Krystal dressed me, but we have been showcasing her work all this week. So Krystal, also professionally known as K Ladda, is conceived, styled by K through her divine purpose and passion for creating inner and outer beauty through wardrobe styling. In 2021, with a strong passion for image consulting and a heart for entrepreneurship, K Ladda spent numerous hours dedicated to figuring out her place in the fashion industry and what the vision was for her calling. Styled by K, which is now known as KSL Styling Company, is a wardrobe styling service with a purpose. With faith being a key component in all she does, K Ladda is helping individuals rediscover themselves at whatever season of life they are in. With her superb styling skills, K Ladda enjoys showing her clients that she refers to as fabulous friends, a fresh style that is individually tailored for each person based on their beautiful personality. Her services such as personal shopping, closet detoxing, wardrobe styling, image consulting, and creative directing make sure that every person who she caters to feels and looks their absolute best. All right. So before I turn the mic over to her, I will say this is 100% absolutely true. I've had a few consulting sessions and I can't wait to get into them, but I'm going to, start off by asking you, Krystal, now you said in 2021, you took some time to really kind of figure out who you are in the fashion industry. So can you talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to start KSL Consulting Co. and, basically what got you here?
Yeah, so it's not a clean, straight path like a lot of business owners may have. I was a serial job seeker, so I have had a job in just about every industry that you can imagine, and it just never was a fit for me. And because I'm a creative at heart, just being tied to a computer or being tied to one thing, it never worked for me long term. So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I even started with a shoe business a few years ago and it was called Fancy Me, because I knew then how much I love fashion and how much I love shoes. I had collected probably over 100 pair of shoes. And I was like, I really want to get into the fashion industry. And I had started there a few years ago, but not really understanding business. So between those years, I just worked normal jobs and it just was not fulfilling. And I always had this passion for fashion, if you will. I've always loved the creativity and the art that is in the fashion industry. There's so many different things that you can do, and just not on the runway, but for everyday women and men and children, you know. And so during the pandemic, when things were crazy, everybody had more time at home to kind of sit with their thoughts. I was like, I think I want to give business ownership, another try. And I had no idea what that would look like for me. I knew the only thing I knew is that I didn't want to have a business that held inventory again, at least not at that period. Based off of my previous experience with my shoe company, I just felt like I was not in the space to house inventory. And I really wanted to help people to maybe feel like how I used to feel when I was a kid. And I would look at well-dressed people and say, man, they are so put together and they look so nice. I wish I dressed like that. And I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself as a child. So now as an adult, I wanted to help those people who may be feeling the same way or may be going through, you know, life or some type of change and just needs help with their appearance. So I had the opportunity, actually, I mean, God's timing, his alignment is just perfect, because I had the opportunity of taking the Work for Change business entrepreneurship workshop. And like I said, I had no clue what my business would look like, what the name was. All I knew was the industry. And so I said, well, let me take this, you know, class. I know that Dr. Jason is amazing, and let me, you know, take it and see if that kind of helps give me direction. And it completely motivated me and helped me to really get some things down on paper. Like God's word says, you know, write the vision, make it plain. So it really helped me to get things on paper. Even though I still didn't have everything figured out by the end of the workshop, I was able to better navigate and kind of have almost like the bare bones of what I wanted to do and kind of build from there. So that, I know that was like a really long answer, but
no, it's perfect.
I figured, you know, why not? You know, sometimes you don't have all the answers, and you just have to do it, you know, because if you're waiting for all the answers until you know everything, you'll never do it, because there's always a learning curve. And I was fearful to start another business, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it.
But, you know, that was the perfect answer, you know. So to give, you know, you all a bit of background, I've known Krystal for probably about 10 years. And I remember years ago when you started your shoe company. And I thought that was awesome, right? I don't wear high heels, so she has a lot of nice shoes on there, but I couldn't patronize it as much as I wanted. This was also before I was even in small business mindedness as well. So it was really cool to watch you from afar and to see, and that was really exciting for me. So over the years, you know, Krystal and I did not talk often. We would talk literally every once in a while, every blue moon. And she would also often come to me seeking advice about changing direction in life or being unsatisfied in something, you know, with work particularly. It was always about work. Everything else was pretty good. You know, being unsatisfied in the current job or where you are, you know, should I go back to school, or, you know, should I do something else? And, you know, I've told Krystal this before, that she was one of the main motivators for me to start the Starting Your Own Business workshop, by watching her through this process, even again, before I was even minded to start my own business. I was just watching her and just being inspired by her journey, her transparent journey. And so, one thing to Krystal's point is that I saw her business start and then end. Right. And I remember it was a sad ending because it didn't turn out like you wanted it to, but you were like, I just have to kind of change direction. So I say all that to say that I reached out to Krystal and I told her, I was like, hey, I have this workshop available. Would you like to take it? And she jumped on it and she just was a sponge and soaked up all that information. And, I'll just go ahead and plug the Start Your Own Business workshop really quickly. For those of you who relate to Krystal, the reason why I bring all that up is because what I sensed from Krystal is that she had been very unsatisfied and didn't have, it's not that she didn't have focus, it's just that she wasn't living in her purpose. And sometimes it's really obvious when someone's not living in their purpose because everything they try to do is just not them, unsatisfying, frustrating, and so I started the Starting Your Own Business workshop. The next one is June 18th and 25th. And what we do, to Krystal's point, is really help you figure out who you are in your business idea, no matter where you are in the conception stage. We do that first. And then in the second part, which is why it's 2 weekends rather, help you put a business plan together, get those concrete steps together. Then, like Krystal says, it's still more work. There's no magic to this in the sense that you still have some things to figure out. You still have some building to do. And so let me ask you, Krystal, so you started in 2021. What has your journey been for you? So you're about a year and a half in from that point, still very early. But what has that journey been like for you?
It has been an interesting, beautiful, frustrating first year. And I say those things because the open-mindedness and that I've had to have in being able to interact with different women and learn about their history and where they are in life and why they feel like they can use my services, and whether that is cleaning out their closet, or maybe they have an event that they're going to, or maybe they are starting a new job, or just in some new season of life and they need their wardrobe to match not only this season of life, but how amazing they are on the inside, and they don't really know where to go or how to approach that or dress for their body type. So they seek me. And that has been beautiful, connecting with all these fabulous ladies to help them in their life. But the back end of business is very meticulous. And so my first year, I found out it was really frustrating because I picked a name but I didn't know. So I was doing things, but didn't know the sub layer of it. So for example, I picked the name and the name started out as Style by K. And I went to register it for the state that I was living in. And I was like, okay, it's available. But what I didn't take into account was there's 100 other businesses named Style by K. So if you Google Style by K, my name gets lost in the shuffle because all these other, things come up. And so things like that have been a learning curve for me. So it was like, okay, now in this second year, so now I have to think about rebranding and maybe changing my name. And so there's just these learning curves. And then with things still kind of semi being opening and from COVID, and then, having to think about marketing because even though social media is big, I don't want to be a social media company to where I'm only promoting and marketing on social media. So then it's like, how do I market other areas? What does that look like? Do I have to hire someone Is it something I can do on myself? Do I have the capital to do it? So there are all these things, even like keeping up with the accounting part of it. So you're really like, when you are a sole proprietor or entrepreneur, you're doing everything yourself. So it can be frustrating, it can be overwhelming and tired. But what I would tell myself is, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Right.
And I heard a quote recently from another entrepreneur I followed that I loved. And she said, it either works or it works. There is no plan B. So it either works or it works. And having that mentality really helps me to keep pushing, especially on those days where I feel like, well, I didn't get a lot of likes, or I don't know where to go from here. Or, you know, it's like, well, just keep pushing through it. So still being a brand new business, that's kind of still almost in its infancy, I'm still learning every day. I'm still making tweaks to the business. I'm still trying to find my lane, if you will. I'm still editing my vision and my mission statement. I'm still editing and figuring out what I want the experience to be like, especially for people who I'm serving virtually.
Yes.
Because that's a different experience for somebody that I get to help one-on-one. So there's still a lot of room for growth. There always will be. And that just goes back to me saying, don't wait until you think you have it all figured out, because there's always going to be, you know, the next thing that you have to learn.
Yeah, that's so good. And, you know, at the end of the Starting Your Own Business workshop, we talk about the fact that your business plan or your business vision it's a living document. Like you're always working on it. You're always tweaking. I'm the same. Like, I'm still, you know, I had to update my website. I have a 2.0 version of the website. I've had to redo my logo. I've had to rethink about how I approach clients and what type of clients that I take. Every day is a fascinating challenge, something to figure out. So I think you said something really important too about basically, number one, listening to other people who do it, you know, and then also hiring people to help you, consulting, because you know what, that's what I do with Krystal. So I just want to give, you know, some shout outs to what Krystal does for some of you who may not really understand. Because when I thought about fashion, a fashion consultant before, I'm thinking about what I see on television, which it actually kind of is the same. It's just, I never thought about it for a personal experience. So one thing you can see even visually here, Krystal is a bright, colorful, vibrant person, and it shows in her clothing. I'm like, give me black with a splash of color and I'm good, right? And so honestly, just like Krystal said, I think the first time I hired you, I had a photo shoot. It was a branding photo shoot. If you're an entrepreneur, I really strongly recommend you do a branding photo shoot. I did mine with Krystal Smith Photography. It's a little plug for Krystal.
You love some crystals.
I love some crystals. And so I went to my closet, and I went to my closet to like pick out which outfit I was going to wear. And I literally kind of got depressed, and I started like doubting myself. I'm like, man, I'm so bland. I don't have anything. I want to show people who I am, but I don't have anything cute or fun or fashionable. You know, everything is old, you know, because no one went shopping for 2 years during COVID. And I was like, you know what? Krystal can help me, right? And so literally, I hired Krystal, and, you know, you all have seen the pictures from my first photo shoot. That was like absolutely awesome. And I've hired her. She styled me for my banquet. I have another event she's going to style me for pretty soon. And then another way that I have hired Krystal, which I never thought I would do, is I hired her to do personal shopping with my daughter, who was at the time 12. And if anybody has a preteen or a teenager, you know, as a parent, you can no longer shop for them. They don't like anything that you say or do or pick out. So I was trying to get my business started, as Krystal was saying. And I was just like, if I could just get somebody to take her shopping, because I don't want to, the fussing and the back and forth. So I hired Krystal to do personal shopping with Kennedy. She did one session, and that one session literally my daughter's life. Not only did she help her pick out a new fall wardrobe, but you gave her so many tips along the way. You poured into her self-confidence. You let her be such an important part of the process. So when we go shopping now, she is like focused. She knows exactly what she wants. She knows exactly who she is. She's brave in what she picks out. And then it's like a year later, me and my daughter still talk about Krystal's influence on her wardrobe and where we go shopping. So I just say all of that to say that, as I said in the bio, Krystal has a real talent for not trying to make you what she thinks you should be, but she really understands, takes the time through her consultations, because the process requires a consultation, to understand who you are. And then she has a gift for finding that little piece of light. Everybody has a light, but she finds another piece of light that you haven't even seen for yourself, and she brings that out. So her contact information is below. So I strongly recommend that if you're thinking about it, she does it virtually as well, which is another dope thing. So if you have, like you said, an event, a vacation, she also coordinates photo shoots and things of that nature. So, I mean, even from your service list, it's grown so much since last year. So let me ask you this, and I love how you talked about how, the year has its challenges, it's frustrating, it's fun. I call it like a roller coaster, because even when things are sort of like, whoa, how do I manage this? You always figure it out. You know why? Because it's your business. You always figure it out. So I wanted to ask you, what advice do you have for someone who, similar to your situation, where you sort of like either in a job or you're going from job to job, and you're not quite satisfied, and they're toying with this idea of starting their business. What advice would you have for them?
I would tell anyone out there who wants to start their own business, first, pray about it.
Yeah.
And make sure that whatever that thing is, whether it's a service or product or whatever industry, that that is what God calls you to do, because there's a difference between something being a hobby and being able to make it a viable business. So I would just say pray about that. And then once you prayed about it and you know that whatever that thing is, you would not be complete without it, then just start. And I know that sounds cliche and everybody says just do it, but literally just start, because if you don't start, it won't happen. Take the workshop, take the entrepreneur workshop with Work for Change, and get the resources and the wealth of knowledge that is provided there, and take it and run with it and make it yours. You're always gonna be evolving in your business and in yourself. I mean, that's life. We're not the same people as we were 5 years ago. So your business won't be the same. Think of these big corporations. Like over the weekend, we took our daughter to the Crayola experience, and they had this huge wall showing the evolution of the crayon box. It was not the same. It's always, so we always evolve, and don't be afraid of the change and the challenge. And like you said, the roller coasters, the highs are great, but appreciate the lows too, because when things are slow, that gives you time to be able to kind of focus and think about your next move. So, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to get a business mentor, and really start. Take the vision, find out what's going to set you apart, and start. find resources that's going to help you.
Thank you, Krystal. So as I said, all week we have been featuring Krystal's business on our Work for Change media channels because Krystal was the recipient of the inaugural Work for Change Small Business of the year. And the way that is titled for being a fierce entrepreneur. And again, the reason that I categorized it under fierce, because I believe that, or I know that Krystal has had a very successful business over her first year, not because she went from 0 to 200 clients, because success comes in so many ways. But again, to watch the evolution of, to watch the evolution of your business and to watch you figure things out. And that's the beauty about social media, because it, as you're watching people, in the business, like, let's just say your favorite social media person, let's just say if it's Tabitha Brown, for example, because everybody knows Tabitha Brown, you can watch, I love the crayon example, you can watch her evolution, right? You can see her figuring things out. You can see opportunities coming to her, see when there are things that didn't work out and she talks to you or, whatever about, what type of considerations that she's had. Everybody has a different approach to how they market themselves or put themselves out there. But what I saw in Krystal's business is that no matter what she was trying out, playing with social media, playing with different styles, showcasing clients, having pop-ups, right? And local businesses and things of that nature. I was like, no matter what, she's moving forward. She's trying out new things. She's not afraid to fail. She's learned from all her experiences. She's gaining new clients. The momentum from the outside never wavered, right? Who knows what's going on the inside, right, Krystal? But, that momentum never wavered. And so, that's why a part of the reason why Krystal earned that award for being fierce, because she's not afraid to evolve. She's not afraid to follow God's orders, and she just stays consistent with it, which is what we always say is the number one key to success, is just staying consistent and staying out there no matter what's happening on your business from the inside. So I have had a wonderful and beautiful time talking to you, Krystal, this morning. As I said, Krystal's social media handles are below on the YouTube channel here. We really appreciate you watching. So please, you see as well, Work for Change social media handles. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of the things. And so please like, subscribe, and share so we can work to make the world of work better. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.